Hi everyone, it's Mitch from PickDawgz. It is Saturday, September 21st, 2019. Of course, it's my favorite day of the week during my favorite time of the year. It's College Football Saturday. We're halftime of Texas A&M against Auburn. We have a few other games at the half, notably Wyoming-Tulsa, BYU-Washington, Temple against Buffalo. We have Pittsburgh and UCF also all heading to the half. So we got plenty of halftime action here. Hopefully you guys are having a great college football Saturday. I'm going to guess my notifications aren't going out. There they go. So a couple people starting to join us here. Hello to everyone. It's halftime at a lot of the games, and I just figured, what the hell? I just finished working out, watching the games. You can see I got my setup going right over here. College Football Saturday. I had the iPad going on. Of course, my wife, she wants no part of it. Sitting out on the porch with Sam. You can see him lying on the ground right there with her. Sam was watching the games with me, but the dog just watches a lot of college football. UAB looking fantastic. Wyoming, big injury in the Wyoming game. We were cruising right along, and then Wyoming just... big injury, and since then it's been we have not gotten anything. But hi to everyone that's joining us here at halftime. I love doing these halftime shows too. I know you guys like the halftime shows. If you're watching us in the Facebook group, yep, I gave out Auburn, one of my best bets. I loved it all week. Auburn was my pick to win the SEC. People getting notification. UAB looking great. You know, BYU is one of the interesting ones, too, because they couldn't have played any worse. And they're only down by 12. We got them +7. You know, we're right in this one. The game that I'm really looking at, though, is UCF Pitt, and I'm really interested in this second half line. You know, some shoestring tackles, some really nice acrobatic plays by Pitt, taking nothing away from them at all. But I don't know. I think we can get some value here with UCF. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So Temple -6.5 for the second half. BYU +1.5 for the second half. I honestly don't think they could play any worse than what they played in the first half. I just don't think so. So, I think it was UCF that got the field goal, actually. Yeah, I love Auburn. They are physically beating on Texas A&M. I don't think anyone's surprised about it. You know, who cares? Ohio State against Miami of Ohio. Who cares? Play somebody, right? Play Washington, you know. Play BYU. Play somebody. Play Georgia, right? Ohio State. If Ohio State wants to brag, you know, in September, play Georgia. Play somebody, right? Play Alabama in the kickoff classic. Play somebody, right? And same thing with Alabama. You want to brag at the beginning of the season? Play somebody. But so far, those teams have really played nobody. App State, of course, one of our best bets for the day, all over North Carolina as well. Kentucky not showing up. South Carolina on the board here against Missouri, one of my top plays as well. Yep, it was a huge play from South Carolina. I like BYU. I don't think they can play any worse than they did in the first half. They're only down by 12 points. In that game, we got them +1.5. I think we take them here on the money line for the second half. But I'm just waiting for this UCF number to come out. North Carolina is -0.5 against App State. Auburn +3.5 in the second half and +170 on the money line. You know, it's been a pretty physical game for Auburn. I think we take them here at the +170. I think we take BYU at the +120. On the money line in the second half. Wyoming-Tulsa, I'm skittish on. I got to be honest with you on that game. I don't like the way Wyoming has looked since the big injury. see what else we got. Well, we already got the other side of that one. We got San Jose State in that game. Yep, I took BYU on the money line there. I like UCF in the second half, but we got to see what this line is. Yep, South Carolina. Love BYU. Yeah, we had Michigan State in the over. Both Steve Monahan and I both picked Michigan State, and I took Michigan State again. What? You're kidding, right? That's going to be worse than the Wisconsin-Michigan game. It's going to be epic beatdown. It's going to be not even close. The Texas-Oklahoma State game should be good. Yeah, well, Missouri hasn't done much on offense either. And plus, we're getting 9.5 points in that one out of the gate. So I like our chances. Yeah, we went over this game. There's a video on this one on the site. On our YouTube page, if you go there, I did a video on it. Yeah, I think BYU seems to get a penalty on them every single time they're on defense, right? Like every single time they're on defense, they get a penalty. So here it is. Central Florida is minus 6.5 for the second half. I'd say we hit it and hit it hard. I love Central Florida for second half. Looks like the line may have changed as I tried to get that one in. Love Central Florida here in the second half. I think they win this game. I think UCF wins the game. So whatever you need to bet to get that, I think you do it. I don't know if they cover that initial spread. We could probably hedge out. Of course, a lot of games here. Yep, I see it at 6.5. I see it at 7. It's UCF, not USF. Watching first half, watching the halftime show. Will you do any recap, any new picks here as well? I don't understand what that means. 6.5 for Punky Joe Kavanaugh. Bobby, thank you guys for showing up. Be sure to hit the thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, our YouTube channel. Be sure to join our Facebook group. A lot of action going on in there as well. Got some. If you're going to be in the Facebook group, if you guys could just take a quick read of the rules in there, I would appreciate it. If you say things like "thank me later," you're gone. Everyone knows I've been doing this for a long time. I hate things like "thank me later." It's like, if you win, we'll all thank you later. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to tell everybody to thank you later. If you win, we'll thank you. If you lose, we don't bash you. Like, just pathetic is what it is. That's what I call that, amateur hour. But of course, we got a lot of second half lines here. We'll just see if there's any changes in these games, and we'll just go through the second halves. A lot of second halves, a lot of games at halftime right now. Ohio State minus 14.5 second half versus Ohio State. The UCF Pittsburgh line has now dropped to 6 for the halftime line. I see that there's a minus 9.5 for UCF at plus 158. We see BYU still plus 120 and plus 1.5. App State plus 0.5 makes UNC minus 0.5 in that one. Auburn plus 3.5 and plus 170. I love it. Auburn's really been physical in this one. I think they wear them down. Well, they're not blitzing because the wide receivers are fast as hell. If you blitz, they're going to burn you deep if you don't get to the quarterback. And I really think in this Washington BYU game, you take away some of these BYU face masking. I mean, BYU is typically one of the most penalized teams in the country, But I think they're the most penalized team today also. I mean, take even those full games that the 12 noon Eastern time starts. BYU has been penalized more than anybody in those games. I mean, just ridiculous amounts of penalties. Let's take a look at the box score from that one, from BYU Washington, and see exactly what I'm talking about. So when we look at the... Oh, they don't list the penalties in the box score. Wow, that's ridiculous. They list interceptions and kick returns, but they don't list penalties. No idea. You would think they would list the penalties in this one, because there's been a ton called on BYU. Will I recap the halftime picks? Well, they're all, I'm recapping them over and over again because some games will go live as we're going. Yeah, book it. I can't stand those. Thank me later. Book it. Any of those things. Read the rules. Yep, we did pretty well early. We had a couple that we didn't do it. Temple plus 10.5. Second half. Yeah, Buffalo is just dominating that game. So it's really, really tough to jump on Temple. Yeah, everyone's piling on Auburn because they're really putting the physical beat down on Texas A&M. And when you put that physical beating on them, usually they wear them down. The line that's really going the other way is UCF and Pitt. UCF down to -6 for the second half. You got Washington still -1.5. I like BYU money line. Auburn plus 3.5 at plus 105. The money's actually on Texas A&M there on that one. You never know. A fast team like Miami, they could score 4 touchdowns and like that. I mean, 4 touchdowns is nothing for a team that runs 4.340s. BYU, yeah. I wonder how many of those 8 for 59. There's spot fouls in there. There's, what about the ones that were declined? But BYU it seems that their penalties have been more significant. We had SMU against TCU as one of our plays, and SMU is playing extremely well in that one. We're getting a lot of points, so we should be okay. Starting to look over at the screen, see what's going on. Looks like Missouri and South Carolina. I can't see. You guys are going to get to see me in my... this is how I watch the games. Looks like Missouri scored a touchdown to make it 17-7 against South Carolina. I can't see, I'm sorry. But anyways, we're just those of you that are just joining us, there's not going to be a recap at the end because a lot of these games will have gone to where we can't bet them anyway. So we're just constantly going over them. Ohio State -14 against Miami of Ohio. We love Central Florida for the second half. I say take it up as high as you could possibly get it. I see a 9.5 out there plus 158. That to me is probably the play. BYU money line we like. We like Auburn on the money line for the second half as well. I think Pitt has gotten pretty lucky in this one. I don't want to take anything away from them. I really don't. But I think that they've done it well. We have free picks on UFC on the site. When the site is up, we will cover UFC. I don't personally cover it. We have people that cover it though. We will have people on the new site. Ohio State was losing 5-0. It's 49-5. 49 unanswered. 7 unanswered touchdowns. If you have 7 unanswered touchdowns, that means that you can pretty much score whenever you want. So Temple Buffalo has gone to the third quarter. Buffalo on the 3-yard line. SMU scores again before the half to make it 31-17 against TCU. Of course, I gave out SMU on the college football preview show yesterday, Steve Monahan was on Gary Patterson in the Horned Frogs. I think Steve Monahan got the better of me in some of those early games. He had Syracuse, I had Western Mich. We both had Michigan State. Both had I think I had the Raging Cajuns, and did he have the Raging Cajuns too? Let's see. These are all our picks from yesterday's college football show. It's crazy, right? So we went kind of in order, so we should see. We both had App State. I had Wyoming. We both had Temple. Kentucky. South Carolina, I had. Oh, boy, I don't see it. I guess it really doesn't matter. We can figure it out later. Really did go through just a ton of games. We both loved Wisconsin. Boston College, another winner we had. I think the ones that I put up as my best bets, all doing pretty well, including UAB. I'm struggling with Wyoming because of the injury. Yeah, I enjoy doing the show with Steve. I think that he has really good football knowledge. I think his betting knowledge with the points, I think that will start to come in a little bit. He takes a few too many favorites for my taste, but that's, to each his own, and that's why you have different people on the show. But I believe we'll have Steve on tomorrow morning for NFL Sunday, like we did last week. I think he was like 14-2 last week or something ridiculous. So we'll definitely have him back on. A lot of people wanted him back on. Of course, my best bets for the day were these. These were my best bets today. So Kentucky looks like they're in trouble. UCF probably in trouble. Wisconsin already in the house as a winner. UAB looks pretty good. App State looks good. Auburn looks good. BYU could go either way. We're just down by a couple. They're in the second half now. BYU, Washington. BYU attempting to get one down the field. But I'll tell you what, BYU gets a touchdown here. We're covering. All we need is a touchdown for a cover. Oregon, I love tonight. Georgia, I love tonight still. South Carolina, just a half a point away from a cover. So we're getting a ton of points in that one. Yeah, I think Steve, the first show, he was a little nervous. He didn't know what to expect. He didn't know about the back and forth. I've known Steve for a long time, but I've never done a show with him. So it's kind of like, I'm this same way no matter when you meet me. But, I don't know if Steve was ready for that. Yeah, I think we have different opinions, and that's good. I don't think it would be that crazy. To score 2 touchdowns and to hold them to nothing, I don't think it would be that crazy at all. I think it would be crazy if UCF covers. And I think they will. I do think they'll still cover. At 3 touchdowns, they cover. So I think well within it. We saw a shoestring tackle. We saw some crazy plays. We saw some bad interceptions. It's not like Pitt has just come in and stoned them. And it's not like Pitt is world beaters. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks getting hit. We've seen a lot of contact in pass defense today. We've seen a ton of it. And we've seen a ton of it. I don't know. It's actually not a bad idea because we have really, really big waves. I'd love to surf for an hour before NFL starts. He was spot on. He was a little nervous last week. This week, not as nervous. I think he doesn't know like the South Alabama UABs, of the world, like most people don't. But the thing is, to me, that's what you guys want to hear about. Everyone knows Michigan, Wisconsin, and Notre Dame, Georgia, and you guys already have opinions on that. Texas A&M, Auburn, I think you might, some people were on the fence on that game. So it's like, it's nice to hear, but it's like, I have no idea what this means. He made a number of videos already for NFL on YouTube. Yes, I did. I made a ton. There's a video for every NFL game already out there on our YouTube channel. I did a video for every single game, an early look at it. But anyways, it looks like we're going to the second half here at Texas A&M, Auburn. So I'll end our halftime show. I love doing these halftime shows. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can do these. I do live betting too when it happens. I would have live bet UCF a little earlier, so we're lucky we didn't do a live bet on it. But our second half picks: Ohio State -14, Pittsburgh or UCF -6, and as high as you could take it. We like Auburn and take SMU plus the 5.5 as well against TCU. Great, you should share that in our Facebook group. I mean, if you have inside information or good information about about anything, share it in our Facebook group. It's called PickDawgz, and we got over 1,000 people in just a little over a week and a half that joined our group. We have about 1,200 and super active. It's way more active than some of the groups that have 10 times as many members or even 30 times as many members. We're going to have that many. I mean, you imagine we did that in a week and a half. I mean, I don't expect to see it continue to grow that fast, but I will expect to see it grow pretty well. Anyways, this is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. Have a great second half. I'll either see you guys later. I'm not sure. If not, you guys know where to find me. Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Steve Monahan will be in the house for NFL Sunday. This is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. Enjoy College Football Saturday. It's my favorite day of the week during my favorite time of the year as Texas A&M rips off a nice run to start the second half. War Eagle. I know we have a lot of Auburn fans. Mike Palmer, I guess, missed our halftime show, so he's just, he thinks that they pay off full game bets at halftime or something. But anyways, thanks for joining us, Mike. Be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Have a great day, everyone.